Hi everyone, I'm Daniela Cambone and welcome back to StansberryInvestor.com and our Outlook 2022. On behalf of myself and the team here at Stansberry Research, we just want to thank you for your support throughout the entire year. It's been an incredible one filled with highs and lows and some very animated guests. So we've put together a little compilation of some of the best of 2021 before we welcome the new year. What's the straw that breaks the camel's back here?
Well, it's the amount of currency that people are aware of. It's a psychological phenomenon more than a math issue. But with the reverse repo being in like the $1 trillion range, having to suck money in and out of the system every night, the amount that the government of the United States and others that are following that are inflating at an unbelievably unprecedented rate. And still the U.S. still remaining pretty much the strongest currency and the most trusted. It's when the trust and confidence in that breaks, and it's breaking as we speak.
Central banks are going to dissolve, and the fiat money is going to go the way of all fiat money has gone over 300 years. Not a single fiat money, paper money scheme has lasted over the past 300 years. They've all gone to zero or lost 99% of their purchase power.
The central banks are never going to destroy gold. It'd be akin to shooting themselves in the foot. Bitcoin, they have no allegiance to, so they can go after that in spades. And gold, you know, one of the other misconceptions, and I think where people get mixed up with the Bitcoin comparison, is that gold is not designed to moonshot through the roof like some tech darling. It's designed as a store of value against inflation, the devaluation of currencies, and sharp equity downturns.
Bitcoin's an economic imperative. It's a technical imperative. It's a moral imperative. Economically, there's $250 trillion of currency derivatives that are debasing at least 10% a year. That's a $25 trillion a year problem. Every investor needs to store value to survive the currency flood. Technically, this is the greatest mobile application. This will be the greatest mobile application. Mobile wallets holding digital currency and digital assets. It's going to allow 5 billion people to trade with each other and protect their life force. Bitcoin is the protocol that synchronizes 100,000 financial applications in cyberspace. It'll be the kingmaker, and it's going to tip the balance of power in favor of whichever big tech company firm embraces it the most. It's a moral imperative. It's the best hope the human race has for life, liberty, and property for the 8 billion people struggling under the weight of excessive regulation, corrupt politicians, and collapsing currencies and dangerous physical environments. It is an instrument of economic empowerment. It can be delivered to everybody.
Digital currencies are coming. That's programmable money. That's what it is. Programmable money. Gold money is private and it holds its value over time. The public doesn't need trust in it because it has the broadest base of market. Fiat money, dollar government money, is private if you hold it physically outside of the system, but they still control its value. Programmable money, boy, short term, they can do any darn thing they want to it. You're not spending enough? Okay, we will push those rates negative. You will watch your principal erode and you will go spend it. You will do what we say because we can make it disappear with the push of a button.
So many countries calling on the IMF now for financial support. And the IMF only has, max 1 trillion of assets available, and that's not enough to support all countries and all countries in need. So a new trick was needed for the IMF to be able to create new reserves. And the IMF states in one of the press releases that this new allocation of SDR is a substantial and direct liquidity boost to all member countries without adding debt burdens. So it envisioned this as a new layer which has been built on top of the fiat money system.
I remain very, very bullish on both gold and silver and continue to buy gold and silver coins. I think they're both going much higher. And at some point, maybe 10 years from now, gold is going to be reinstituted as day-to-day money. But that's after the almost total collapse of the current system.
So what should the Fed do here? You know, we talk about taper or not to taper. Is there a third solution we're missing here?
I think as the economy is currently configured that there isn't. You'll recall a year ago, you and I visited on this topic, and we talked about the fact that the Fed is between a rock and a hard place. They have been the market and the economy's instrument of last resort. In other words, we have decided as a people that we're not going to have hard times anymore. And the consequence of that is that whenever hard times appear, we solve them by counterfeiting.
Do you think we could see other companies like Apple, Netflix turning to Bitcoin?
The more people who join in, the bigger the price is going to be, the higher the price is going to be. It's a very simple equation. How it's all going to end, I have a different view, but in the meantime, I'm not going to rain on their parade. I'm not even at the parade. So more power to them as long as they get out in time.
Today, it controls the money system. It controls who gets money, what the interest rates are. All the important elements of commerce are controlled by this private group in the name of the government. And it's become so powerful over the years that the role has completely reversed. It was created by the government. It was, in other words, a contract issued by the federal government, just like the states issue contracts or legalize corporations and so forth at the state level. This is like a national corporation that was created by the national government. And so it's the government created it, but now over the years, the role of master and servant has been reversed, and now we come to the amazing and horrible conclusion that the government doesn't control the banks control the government.
You can make wealth, right? You could make it, but then there's a different level of really making it. Like, I mean, talking multi-million of dollars, okay? How do you go to that level? How do you get there? Is it like a character trait that you found amongst, you know, multimillionaires, or is it a drive of continuously wanting to do, of never stopping? What does it take?
So ultimately, you know, I think what determines where you're going to stop, right? Yeah. Is really up to you, and it's also up to a question of luck. In other words, I can probably tell you that you take any of the top 10 wealthiest families in the world, you can probably associate their huge jump in wealth to one deal.
Yeah.
They did a certain deal at a certain time, which nobody understood. They did, and whether they fully understood it or not is another story.
Right.
And all of a sudden they exploded in the wealth. Very rarely do you get a Buffett kind of slowly nibbling. You know, I like to call it the beaver nibbling, and then you finally realize, hey, look at how much nibbling I got, and look at how much wealth I've created. Rarely does that happen. Normally it's huge jumps. Somebody works really hard. He's almost at the brink of bankruptcy, and then all of a sudden some guy gives him a value that makes no sense, and now he's a multi-billion, right? That's what we're seeing today. But I always tell people, you've got to enjoy the ride.
Wow, what an incredible year 2021 has been. Thank you for joining us on the ride. And who knows what 2022 holds in store, but we will be there right by your side trying to make sense of it all. On behalf of the Stansberry Research team, we wish you all good fortune and above all else, good health. Happy New Year.
opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the contributor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Stansberry Research, its parent company, or affiliates.